All right, let's get into it. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most famous, most demanding, and frankly, most misunderstood books of magic ever written, the Book of Abramelin. Now, I want you to forget everything you think you know about magic. This isn't about waving wands or muttering a few secret words. This is a 6-month spiritual marathon, and the goal is something extraordinary. And this question right here, this is the whole ballgame. It gets right to the very heart of the Abramelin system. This isn't your Hollywood-style spellcasting. The book's entire premise is that true magical ability doesn't come from some dark pact or a hidden secret. It comes from a radical, total purification of yourself. So here's our roadmap for today. First, we're going to look at the ultimate goal of this whole system. Then we'll walk through the grueling 6-month path it takes to get there. After that, we'll unpack the cosmic philosophy that makes it all tick, then look at the incredible power it promises, and finally cover the very serious warnings that come with it. Okay, so what is the point of all this? Most old magical texts or grimoires, they're kind of like a recipe book, a spell for this, a ritual for that. But Abramelin is different. The entire system is laser-focused on achieving one single monumental goal. This is the great work, the ultimate purpose of the magician's entire life. And this right here, this single phrase is the master key to the whole book. Everything you do, every single prayer, every ritual, every sacrifice, it's all designed to lead you to this one singular moment. Direct, open, two-way communication with your holy guardian angel.
Now, this is what I find absolutely fascinating. We need to be really clear about what the book means by angel. Don't picture a winged creature from a Renaissance painting. The text is describing your own highest self, your personal divine spark. It's like a celestial teacher that is a part of you, representing your most pure, direct link to the divine. The goal, really, is to meet the most perfect version of your own soul.
And according to the text, making that contact is a completely life-altering experience. It's not just a chat. The angel supposedly floods your being with this incredible understanding, shows you where you've gone wrong in life, and gives you true wisdom. And notice this. The secret magic is a result of the spiritual awakening. It's not the reason you do it in the first place.
So the big question is, how on earth do you achieve something that profound? Well, spoiler alert, it's not easy. This isn't a weekend workshop. The book lays out an incredibly strict 6-month period of intense preparation. It's a total life overhaul.
So this 6-month ordeal is basically a masterclass in psychological and spiritual transformation. For the first 2 months, you start pulling back from the world, from business, from distractions. Then, for months 3 and 4, you crank it way up. Complete withdrawal from society, more intense prayers. And the final 2 months are the climax. You're in total isolation in a special prayer room, the oratory. The entire process is a spiritual crucible designed to burn away the ego and all your worldly attachments, leaving you as a pure vessel, ready for that divine contact. So you go through all of that. But why does it work? What's the thinking behind it? Well, the entire system is built on a very clear, very dualistic view of the universe. It's a cosmos of light versus dark, good versus evil, and there's a very strict chain of command. And here is the absolute linchpin of the whole system. By achieving that conversation with your holy guardian angel, you are officially aligning yourself with the forces of light. And that alignment grants you divinely approved authority over the fallen spirits. This is so important. You don't bargain with them, you don't make pacts. You command them with a power that's not your own, but is loaned to you from the divine. Okay, so you've made it through the 6-month marathon. You've made contact with the angel. So what now? Well, this is where the practical magic, the stuff people usually think of, finally comes into play. You are now considered ready to use that divine authority for real, tangible effects in the world. And the tools you use are these famous Abramelin magic squares. But, and this is a huge but, the book is crystal clear. By themselves, these squares are just meaningless scribbles. They have zero power. They only become active when used by someone who has completed the whole operation. Think of them like a light switch. The switch does nothing if the house isn't wired for electricity. The 6-month ordeal is wiring the house. These squares are just how you flip the switch once the power is on. And the results that are promised are incredibly specific. The third section of the book is basically a huge catalog of these symbols and what they do. You want to find lost or stolen books? Yep, there's a square for that. Want to cause visions? There's a square for that too. Or how about having as much gold and silver as you could wish for? You guessed it, there's a square for that. This is where that abstract spiritual work translates into very concrete power. But with all of this incredible power comes a massive warning label. The text makes it absolutely clear that this isn't a prize to be won. It's a sacred trust, a heavy, heavy responsibility. This isn't a one-time trick. It's a lifelong commitment. So the magician has to live by this really strict ethical code. The power is alone from the divine, so you can't use it for selfish or malicious reasons. You have to completely shun all other kinds of magic, which the book sees as corrupt. And check out that last point. You can command the fallen spirits, but you must never try to command the holy angels. They are your teachers, not your servants. Breaking these rules, the book says, leads to a most shameful and fatal fall. The stakes are about as high as they can get. And all of this leaves us with one final, fascinating question. The Abramelin system promises all this incredible supernatural power, but only as a side effect of achieving this state of near-perfect holiness and self-knowledge. So what is this book, really? Is it a manual for commanding spirits, or is it a radical guide to finding God by perfecting yourself, where the magic is just the proof that you actually succeeded? It's a question that makes this text absolutely timeless.